Hi, this is Vlad Genshu. I am a Los Angeles litigation and trial attorney practicing here in Southern California, mostly in Los Angeles County and in Orange counties. I want to talk to you today about the concept of giving back to the legal community. I had the opportunity in late July 2024 and early August 2024 to teach at the American Board of Trial Advocates ABOTA Jack Daniels Trial Advocacy Program. Now, this is a program, it's a trial advocacy school where you have younger lawyers and more senior lawyers as instructors teach the basics of trial advocacy. It's a great program. You don't have to be a member of ABOTA to be a student, but you do have to be a member of ABOTA in order to teach as an instructor. Now, I'm a member of the American Board of Trial Advocates. I was admitted in March 2024. It's an invitation only. You have to be sponsored by 2 attorneys. I was sponsored by 2 attorneys to get in, and you have to have at least 10 civil jury trials to verdict. Currently, I have 15 civil jury trials to verdict with another 3 that settled either during trial or during the trial process or didn't fully reach a verdict. So I have 18 civil jury trials, 15 of which actually went to verdict, and I'm first chair in all of those, or co-first chair in all of those 15. So definitely I'm qualified. I got into ABOTA, and I taught at the Jack Daniels School. I want to mention what that does for the students, but really what it does also for the instructor. I think one of those things about giving back to the legal community and teaching is the more you give, the more you get back from it. And as an attorney who's tried some cases, one really big catastrophic case. I'm doing another big catastrophic case later on this month, a wrongful death motorcycle case in Orange County. You get the opportunity at a program such as the Jack Daniels School to listen to other attorneys who have a lot of experience, way more than mine, who have tried big catastrophic cases. And when you do that, it really assists you in your practice. I want to give you an example. I'm not going to name drop people here, but it's an accurate statement. I was in preparation for this trial that I'm going to be doing with co-counsel in September 2024, this motorcycle wrongful death case. I watched another attorney, another plaintiff's lawyer, try earlier this year in March of 2024 a jury trial against the same defense counsel that I'm going up against in later on this month. And I was able to, he also taught at the Jack Daniels School. And one of the things that he said, and it just reminds me of some of the things that I learned later on, I should say earlier on in my career, and that I see is a classic example during discovery and oral discovery and depositions that's later can be seen as sometimes as a mistake in trial. And it depends, because there's different lawyers who have different opinions on this, but I'll summarize it by basically saying, don't show all your cards in a deposition. And this happened to me in a deposition where the other side already did that, and that's going to prepare us for trial. But I will summarize it as follows. When you are taking a deposition, remember, deposition is really a relatively early part of the case. It's still very much in discovery. You're just trying to find out what's going on. Do not turn your deposition into a trial cross-examination. I'll say that again. Do not turn your deposition into a trial cross-examination. A good attorney from the other side will realize, as they are summarizing the deposition of their client that you just took, they will summarize and they will realize what your strategy is at trial, because you already went there. So if you have a car crash case or a slip and fall or a trip and fall or whatever, a business case, don't ask that last question. Don't do that hard cross that you would do at trial. Or the defense attorney will know you'll tip your hand to their strategy. And that attorney that tried that case, as we were critiquing the other younger lawyers, the other students at the Jack Daniels School, said that right there. You don't turn a deposition into a cross-examination at trial. I've done that, and the problem with that is it totally tips your hand. Now, some people say, well, in a deposition, a video depo, you pin down the witness. I really think it depends, right? I don't think that there's probably a 100% rule, and I know I just gave a rule there. Don't turn it into a cross examination. I still think that your deposition, you're early on in the case, let them state how they think the car crash happened, the accident happened, why they rendered certain kind of treatment for their patient. Don't turn it into a, but don't you know this, and don't you know this, and don't you know this, and your rules are this, and your rule. Their attorneys are going to realize this is your strategy. This is how you play things. This is how it's going to turn out in the jury trial. And that's something that I learned, that I benefited from the school. Because at a program like that, what you get is you get really senior, experienced counsel, and they will give you their nuggets of information, right? And 2 weeks later, or I should say, well, it wasn't even 2 weeks later, it was later that week, I saw a very intelligent, articulate attorney, very prepared, to a cross examination at a depot, right? With a video uh, videographer there, not just your regular deposition with a stenographer. I think to a certain extent, lawyers get a little bit more excited when there's a videographer. Maybe they can see their face a little bit asking the questions. They can see the deponent squirm. I think at the end of the day, you got to be careful not to ask too many questions in deposition. That's something that I learned, or I should say I relearned at a program like that. There's other aspects, of course, of why giving back and doing these kind of teaching projects, which were what was done pro bono. I wasn't paid anything other than, the lunch and the reimbursed parking at Loyola Law School, which is where I went to school. And it was a great forum to hold it there. Had a lot of great attorneys like Gary Dordick and Mike Schoenbuck. The supervising judge of the Los Angeles County Superior Court, Judge Jessner, was there. So great event. Again, if you're teaching or if you're taking the class, I was teaching, instructing students, the lawyer students, you basically could, you obviously get free continued legal education. I think I got like 27 hours or 25 hours, something like that. So it's a benefit for that. And again, what you put in, you're going to give out. It's not just, wasn't just me critiquing. There were other lawyers there, right? And other more senior attorneys. And when you're in, it's kind of, I'm of the belief that the reason certain law schools are better than others, or certain football teams are better than others, or certain basketball teams or hockey teams, isn't because, the hockey puck is any different, or it's because of the competition. They're competing against their fellow teammates on the same team that are just better, and that they're more determined, right? Same story, right? You go to Harvard, you're going to get a lot of smart students. We're competing against smart students. That's a good thing. It's like pressure. I remember Carl Douglas said pressure, can do two things. It can burst pipes, or it can create diamonds. When you're in a room with a bunch of lawyers that have tried catastrophic cases, really complicated cases that are worth anything from $0, because it's a heavily disputed, contested liability case. The other side says, hey, we're not going to give you anything, go pound sand. But if you get it, get the right verdict from the jury, it's worth maybe $50 million. When you're in a room with those kind of lawyers who have those kind of nuggets of advice, who've been lawyers for 50 years or 40 years, you had all the legal experience, you're up to 200 years, 300 years, and maybe 200, 150 years, you're going to get a lot out of that, because you're going to think, gee, you know what? I was thinking about it that way, but I really didn't get, I never would have thought about the last 30 seconds of what this lawyer said. I really wouldn't have thought about the last 5 minutes or last minute and a half. That I'm going to use, right? And when you critique other students, or you teach other students with constructive criticism, it also gives you confidence, because people are listening to you, right? They value your opinion, and you're helping them, so you're helping yourself, because you're watching other people do opening statements, and and direct examinations and cross examinations and closing arguments and rebuttals, and of course the most important one, which is jury selection. All of that, what it does is it shows you, hey, this is how this is done, right? Trial advocacy is an art, and there's a little bit, it very much is some science to it, and since there's a formula to it as well, but it's something that has to be done over and over and over again. It's not something that you can just, put up and leave and never do again. It's kind of, people can get into the physical shape of running 3 miles every other day. I know I used to be. Those were better days in terms of me being in shape. People can get into shape of running 10 miles or 15 miles, but you can't just do it once, right? You got to continuously do it. Get on that treadmill, eat a certain way, drink a lot of water, and that's the same thing about a trial. Trial lawyers are in trial, right? They're in trial. It's kind of like, well, I had an attorney, David Fisher. He was a professor, adjunct professor of Civil Procedure 2 and Torts 2 at Loyola Law School. And he had this joke where he said, nobody in history has ever said, give me a potato chip. And people say, give me some chips, give me some potato chips. Nobody's ever eaten one potato chip, right? They're too delicious. It's got the perfect ratio of sugar and fat and salt to it. You're not going to eat one. That's impossible. And look, there's only one left, right? You're always going to eat more than one. A trial lawyer has not just tried one case. Okay, you're not a real trial lawyer if you only tried one case. I'd argue to you, you're not a real trial lawyer if you only try one case a year. I try to try as many cases as I can within ethical boundaries. Obviously, I don't force cases to trial, but at the end of the day, you need to get in there in the boxing ring, and the only way you're going to get better is by trying more and more and more cases. Now, a couple things about that, which is something that's very difficult and it's got to be remembered. No matter what the other side says, and insurance defense counsel and staff counsel love to say this, that and I've seen it on small cases. I've never seen it on a big catastrophic case. They say, oh, we try all of our cases by ourselves. And I think there's some truth to that, right? All state staff counsel, some staff counsel operations, they have relatively small cases. They're within the policy. They're about, being very economical, understanding their budget. They're not going to send 2 lawyers out there to try a case. As a plaintiff's lawyer, one of the most important parts is jury selection. You need another lawyer there, and you need a lawyer there sitting next to you while you're doing jury selection so that that person can write the notes down, because you don't want to be writing notes, and we did this in another video. You don't want to write notes while you're getting good stuff from the jury. It just looks not polite, doesn't look professional, doesn't look like you got your act together. Looks like you're not paying attention. You are going to miss some really good stuff that you're going to need for cause challenges. So just to go back to the Jack Daniels School, at the bottom line, whenever you're given an opportunity as a lawyer to learn and to put in more time and effort into your practice, go out and do that. The more you learn, the more practice you put in, the better you're going to be. The way I see a school like Jack Daniels, ABOTA's Jack Daniel program, is it gives you a little bit of know-how, because it's only 3 days, but it's good know-how, good foundation. It's going to give you a lot of inspiration by seeing great lawyers out there, by seeing, again, Dordick, Schoenbuck, Carl Douglas, all these just great trial lawyers, and Robert Glassman. You're going to get these lawyers, they're going to teach you stuff, you're going to learn stuff, and then you're going to get inspired to go out there and try these cases. Go out there and try these cases. Go out there and pick a jury. Go out there. And another thing that I'll tell you, is one of the things that everybody should do, and it's hard to do, but I think you should start it in law school if you're watching this and you're in law school, or if you don't have a job right now, or you're waiting for the bar exam, go to court. This is something I didn't do enough of, and I really regret it. I was born in 1986. I was in law school from 2009 until 2012. All those summers, instead of just walking around or watching TV or even just reading. I should have went to court. I should have went to court. There are obviously courts open for the public. Go into court and watch a trial happen. Watch a civil jury trial. You want to be a civil jury trial lawyer? Go watch a civil jury trial. Go watch it. You're not going to get anything when you walk in the first time. You might not even understand what the case is about. Sitting there for 20 minutes. It's the first time I would do that. What's going on here? Now, since I've tried 18 civil jury trials, more bench trials, a couple more criminal trials, I walk in there, I figure out the case immediately, right? Because it's just different. That's what's going to help you. Go out and watch people in their craft. As lawyers, we have the benefit that we are in a public profession, which means we use the courtrooms, if we're trial lawyers, if we're litigators, to further the ends of our clients, of the people that we have a fiduciary duty towards. Those courtrooms are open to you. They're open to you, the American people, the resident and citizen of the state of California. If you're a law student, go in there and watch a trial. Watch a trial. It's going to help you out. And give back to your community. Pay it forward when you have the opportunity, when you've tried some cases, when you have some experience. Anybody calls you, say, hey, can you give me some advice? Always say yes. You're only going to get it back many times over in the future. Thanks so much for watching this. Go try your next jury trial. Seek justice for your client.